Hey Saggy, this is Olivia from Dot's Tarot. I was just reading your decoder card that I pulled for you before the reading, and it's just, I got tickled. Okay, look at that, right? It's a beach in the middle of nowhere, right? But listen to this. Beaches are places where water, which are emotions, meets earth, which is the body. So such a dream could also suggest a longing to express your emotions, that is, enact them bodily, right? Stay with me here. Do you stay on the beach in your dream or take a swim in the ocean? The answer could affect the meaning. If there are footprints in the sand, this could indicate something from your past you're moving away from, since eventually those footprints will be washed away. If the sand shifts under your feet, maybe you're concerned that your life lacks stable foundation. If the dream emphasizes the island itself, or you're alone on the beach, this might suggest feelings of isolation or insecurity, or else a need for some time alone to reflect on what really matters. I thought that was such a beautiful... This is my first time to draw this card. That's why I was so tickled. It was beautiful. And of course, right away when I read it, I said, vacation time! God, who doesn't need one, right? Anyway. That's interesting. If you have never been to a beach, an ocean, you've got to experience it. I lived really close to one when I was growing up, and me and my sisters were there almost every weekend. Every weekend. And it was a good drive for us. About 45 minutes, I guess. Anyway, that's enough of me. Alright. So for Sagittarius, this is for the reading for the for the couples. And yeah, this will be posting tomorrow morning. So, what is the most important thing for Sagittarius couples to be made aware of? What is the most important thing? That one's, oh, there's two. Oh, spaghetti. The top one is the one that goes out first. Anxiety about walking away from something that wasn't emotionally fulfilling you. This is the diminishing of it because you've already made up your mind. That in your heart, you already know that you're going to walk away from something that just emotionally wasn't fulfilling you. And I always say the sun and the moon together, it could have been a situation where you were involved with somebody that just wasn't your type. Because the sun and the moon are like opposites. One's dark and one's light. It's that kind of energy. Oh, that's sad. But at least you're aware of it. And you may have felt that before I said anything. You might have just internally knew that was what this was, but you never really could put it in words. Yeah. You're going to need to take a time out to rest. To rest and rejuvenate. To rethink plans, perhaps. Find a way that you can... make your life change to better. Maybe there's something about you that attracts the darker side. You know, maybe you're the one that attracts them, one or the other. Maybe you should look at that. That would be something, if I were you, I would take a look at that. What about me attracts that kind of person? Or why am I attracted to that kind of person? You know, it can go either way. That way you won't have to go through this again. Anxiety's tough because that'll keep you awake at night. You'll wake up in the middle of the night and your heartbeat might be just racing. It's like, oh my goodness. You could have been dealing with the King of Wands. Now the King of Wands, this is somebody that is ruled by Cancer and Leo. This is usually an honorable man, but in the reverse, this is somebody that's not following their own path. And I want to say it's probably a spiritual path. because that's the way it reads. This is somebody that usually follows their paths. They're so all together and know what needs to happen next, who needs to do it. But in reverse, it's because they're not on their soul's journey or their path, whichever way you want to look at it. I know everybody's path is different. Most are spiritual, some are not, some are, career path. It could be that. Because this is all about working, this energy here. Work, 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 work. Well, and also this king is usually a very pursuing person. In the upright, they pursue what exactly it is that they want, and they don't stop until they get it. Very persistent. But in this case, with this Nine of Wands in reverse, this tells me that they are not going to pursue it. Usually it means perseverance, meaning keep going, but this is like, no. I'm going to go back to my old ways of being. In other words, they're not even really learning a lesson here. They're just, falling back on their old ways, their old patterns of the way they used to react in relationships. And this could be a partnership. It doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic one. It just could be a deep partnership between two people that really had cared for one another at one time. And I have a feeling that somebody went more spiritual and somebody didn't. Because for me, this might be you being more spiritual. And over here, this is somebody that is, more like the moon. That's interesting. Yeah. So they are working. Let me repeat that. Reword that. This could be somebody working, but the kind of work that they're doing is not making their soul sing. They're only doing it for the money. They're not doing it for the fulfillment. And maybe that's the way they treated you. They weren't really into it because you weren't emotionally fulfilled. There might be something wrong with this person. Because if they're only working for the money, and you maybe loved them more than them, that could be, or that you maybe loved them more than they loved you, or if it's not a love connection, they didn't care as much for you as they care about themselves. There could be some of that. I would call that narcissistic in a way, where they feel like they're the ones that need to shine all the time, and maybe you were getting all the glory. Something like that. Oh yeah. This situation has been out of balance for quite some time. The Chariot in reverse is telling me that there's an imbalance in both emotions as well as the psyche. There's two people here that just weren't meant to be. Again, one was light and one was dark. It's the same as the moon and the sun. They just weren't meant to be. They tried, don't get me wrong. I feel like they really did, but I just don't think it ever really got started good. Or it lasted too long, maybe. And you both may feel like you're leaving the other one behind. Or you both may feel, when this is in reverse, it feels like you feel like you were left behind. No, let me take that back. When this is in reverse, this is you leaving somebody behind. And they feel the same way. They feel like they left you behind. So there might have been a splitting of paths. Maybe you were together for a short period of time and you ended up separating and it just never really quite got closure. and now it's just that energy that's kind of lingering. This is why you need to always make sure that when you close a situation or a relationship, whatever it will be, there needs to be an official goodbye. Nice knowing you. Good luck. You know, something like that. Because you both feel like you left the other person behind. Goodness gracious. That's sad. And it could be you or it could be both of you, since you both feel the same way. I wonder if you guys weren't somehow, I don't want to say a soulmate connection, but as a strong connection between two people that just never really had the chance to open up and be themselves around each other. It feels like that. Because with this here, this is telling me that, Saggy, you've decided to turn your back on this and just to keep looking forward. You may have your eyes on the horizon looking for something better, not necessarily a relationship, maybe just a better way of life. Maybe you need to do some dark night of the soul searching yourself. Because this doesn't mean just one person, it means both people were out of balance. They weren't internally, neither one of them were balanced emotionally or psychologically. But you are looking forward into the future. You will find a way. Oh, okay. On the bottom of the deck, we have the Two of Cups in reverse. It was definitely like a partnership. Like a partnership between two people that maybe lived together or were joined at the hip, but eventually just fell apart. I was just thinking about this card. It says here, it says, if the dream emphasizes the island itself or you're alone on the beach, this might suggest feelings of isolation or insecurity, or else a need for some time alone to reflect on what really matters. And to me, I feel like you need to reflect on what matters to you. You can't help other people. I mean, you can sure try and give advice and, you know, show by example, but they have to, in the long run, they have to do their own work. They have to look after themselves. You can't condemn them for that. Sad. Goodness gracious. But it's a lesson learned. Hopefully you both learn it. Okay, let's clarify. Anxiety. I just love when that happens. It's like a confirmation. You probably had a lot of anxiety, Saggy. I wouldn't be surprised. You maybe didn't want to even hurt this person, and they probably didn't want to hurt you either. It just wasn't meant to be. And over here, yeah, see, they don't see it as a victory at all. They think it was just maybe a waste of time. Good gosh, look at this. So there was a time when both of you were working so hard on maybe getting this resolved, whatever issue it was between you. Like I said, I think it was the difference in characteristics or yin and yang. But you guys did try so hard to get it to work. It just never could happen. So finally you ended up, you know, your person ended up just, you know, they don't want to work on it anymore, and you psychologically, emotionally have already walked away. The Magician in reverse tells me that there was some kind of trickery here or some kind of manipulation. Somebody here was being manipulated. I don't know why. It doesn't matter, I guess. Let's get one more for that, though. I'm curious. There might have been another person involved. That could be what it was. This Empress could have been involved because it's lined up here. This person here could have been involved with a feminine energy. Perhaps somebody like the Empress, a mother figure. It could be that this was a three-party situation, even though, yeah, there is a 3. I don't know if you knew or not, Saggy, but this was probably a 3-party situation. And you were being manipulated by this person. Possibly. It could have been both of you manipulating one of the, each other. It could have very well been that, because this actually does refer to both sides. Yeah. It was time to cut this loose and go your separate ways. Let's get an oracle card here. I don't know which one to choose. I guess I'm going to choose 2. I'm going to choose one for the soul's journey, and I'm going to choose the other one for... And I think they should have been reversed, to be honest. Rest and rejuvenation. That is so much like the Four of Swords, because this kind of energy will mess up your schedule of sleeping. You might be up and down throughout the night, that kind of energy. And even the emotional aspect of it, not feeling emotionally and fulfilled, that's enough to drain a person. And this is just basically saying the same thing. It's just time to just rest and rejuvenate. And what that means is, it means to go deep within yourself if you do meditate. And then you can learn to let go of some of the patterns that maybe you've repeated in this relationship that you've done in past relationships. It's very likely that happened. And with this here, the balance could have been more so on your person's side, where it says, I bring a state of perfect harmony into my world, and I do so without judgment. See, this almost sounds, I hate to say it, I bring a state of perfect harmony into my world, and I do so without judgment. It almost feels like they think that they deserved what happened. I don't know, it might be somebody that's a little egotistic, to be honest. Anyway, Saggy, that's what I have for you guys. I hope this helps. Thank you so much for watching, and thanks for subscribing if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Until then, namaste. Bye-bye.